Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's Marissa for Long, and I'm the crocheter behind Damsel Design Co. And today we're back with one of my favorite videos to make. It's everything I made in 2024. And this year I learned how to spin yarn. This year I learned how to knit. So we've got a few new objects that come from different fiber arts, but I'm really excited to show you everything I made this year. There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. So the first thing I made this year was from some yarn that my little brother got me. It's like a color changing yarn. It's all from the same skein. I think it was a Karen Cakes yarn, but we've got 3 different shades of blue, and I added these holes so that I could put space buns or ponytails. I don't want to mess up my hair, but I will drop a picture here so you can see, or it might be a video. But yes, this was one of my favorite makes with the chunky yarn. It worked up so quick. I didn't make this from a pattern. I kind of just made it based on other items I had seen before. So this was a super fun first project to start off the year. So this next pattern that I made is one that I designed myself. It took some frogging, some trial and error, but it ended up being one of my most popular patterns on Etsy. It's my No Weenies Allowed tapestry crochet pattern. Obviously it's SpongeBob inspired. I am obsessed with SpongeBob. I actually just got this Patrick plushie. I will show it to you because it's awesome. Okay, I went and grabbed the plushie. I just got this is the Patrick plushie. It was a collab at Uniqlo, and I'm obsessed with it. I love SpongeBob. But back to this tapestry crochet pattern. Etsy actually had it removed, and I totally get it. It's like copyright infringement. So I don't have it on Etsy anymore. I have it on my Ko-fi if you want to check it out, because it was really popular. I'm so bummed that it got taken down, but I can still enjoy it here in person. So the next item I made, this was in February. I remember because I brought this top with me to San Francisco when I was working on it. And this is the Madeline Lace Crochet Top by Lucy Lane Crochet. And I am obsessed. It has such a unique construction. I believe you start with doing these front panels first, and then you end up connecting them. I love this shell stitch that you use. It's just unlike any other top. A lot of patterns like do raglan or just like drop shoulder, which is totally fine. There's so many variations, but this is a unique kind of construction that I had never done before. This is one of my favorite shirts to wear going out. Let's try it on. I love this top and the unique construction. You can see all the shell stitching, this ruffly, like almost baby doll type of tee. And I really like it because it's something you could wear out without feeling too exposed. I know like granny square type tops can show a little much, but it's cute. Like you do get a little cleavage and a little midi showing, but I like it. It's a fun going out top, and it could be layered really nicely for the winter. And if you're not comfortable showing too much, this is how I would layer it with a long sleeve underneath. This is how I would wear it in the winter, or if you really don't want to show off too much cleavage or your midriff, you could always crochet this longer too, which is really nice about the pattern. So the next pattern I worked on was a bigger project. This is the Wog Pullover, and it's actually a Tunisian crochet. The pattern is by Just the Worsted, who's one of my favorite pattern creators ever. But I think I used one huge ball of yarn, and it got me through most of the project. I think it got me like through one sleeve, and then I needed to get one more ball of yarn to do the ribbing and finish the other sleeve, but it's just perfect. It's so comfy. I love how beautiful like variegated yarn shows in the Tunisian simple stitch. So this is a great beginner Tunisian crochet pattern if you're trying to do a garment. With Tunisian crochet, it's easier to start with like scarves, beanies, things like that. But this is a really simple sweater, but it's really beautiful. I love it. And the yarn just shines throughout it. And this is the Wog Pullover. I am obsessed with how the Tunisian simple stitch really makes this yarn shine. It looks so good for being such an easy project, and I love it. I love how the length, like it hits right here at my higher waist, so I really love that. And this is another sweater that I wear non-stop, so I love making items where I actually get to use it, because sometimes I make it and it just sits in my closet, but this is not one of those projects. Yeah, and the color just goes so nicely around, and the ribbing is really nice. The ribbing's like a normal type of crochet, but it's so nice. Highly recommend if you are looking for another Tunisian crochet garment pattern. And the next pattern I have to show you is a pattern test from Just the Worsted. I totally admire her as a crochet pattern designer, so getting to work on this top was really exciting. And this is the To the Ivy Garden tee. It's like a mesh stitch t-shirt, and I used variegated yarn, and I think it was just perfect for the name of this shirt. And I really love this Peter Pan collar. I had to block it. It's not like quite sitting right, but it's gorgeous. I made this in the spring, and it was so light. Like there's no heaviness because you use such a thin yarn. And so you could wear a shirt underneath if you don't want everything to show, but I would really just wear it like this because it gets hot here in San Diego. So this is one of my favorite makes for spring and summer. So this is the To the Ivy Garden tee. I really love the yarn that I chose for this project because it has like slow ombre gradients. I think this is where I changed yarn, so it's a little more extreme, but I still really like it. It's got like subtle hints of metallic colors in it, and I really love the Peter Pan collar. I need to block it so it stays down, but it will stay down if I block it. I just have worn it a few times, so it goes up. But so drapey. Just the Worsted is the drape queen, and it looks a little bit different in the back, but this is a great crochet project. One of my favorite makes of the year. This next project is so near and dear to my heart because it was the first YouTube tutorial that I made. This is my Tunisian mesh sweater. And I even wore it in my birthday vlog video when I went to visit the alpaca farm. But I just love Tunisian crochet. I want to bring Tunisian crochet to the masses, and this was one of those simple drop shoulder tops. So if you're interested in making one, feel free to check out that video. But I used leftover yarn from a Centro knitting dress that I made back in December last year. But yeah, it's really nice. It's a great layering piece, or if it's hot out, like maybe wearing just a little bandeau. But I love the colorways. I use the Tunisian mesh stitch, so it's a little bit different than Tunisian simple stitch, but I think it was a really fun twist. So hopefully you can get to make one too. And this is my Tunisian crochet mesh sweater. This was made with the leftover cookie yarn, but I really like it. You can wear a tank top underneath, but it's really breathable, which I like. It would be nice to put over something if you're heading to the beach and you're gonna catch the sunset. So yeah, highly recommend this pattern by yours truly. This is knit that I wore a lot in the spring. Speaking of my birthday vlog, this is where I picked up some orange fiber from a Fiber Fest, and I spun up my first skein of Handspun yarn. I love it. I applied it, so it's a 2-ply. It's definitely not even, it's more of an art yarn, but I love it. It's so near and dear to my heart. I haven't touched it since I spun it, and I used a drop spindle to spin it. I still want to get the hang of using my drop spindle, so I have a couple fibers in my closet that I'm still waiting to spin up. But eventually I'd love to move up to a spinning wheel. I don't really have the space for a huge spinning wheel, so in my mind I have like an electric spinning wheel. But drop spindling is so much fun. This took me forever, but I'm really, really proud of it. I have this sort of mental block from using this yarn, so I think eventually I will use it, but it's just so beautiful. I can't stop admiring how every bit just looks different. But it would be perfect to make a chunky beanie. Hopefully it would be enough yarn because I don't have enough, or I don't have any more orange fiber. This next project is another one of my creations. It's the Radi Positivity bag. This is side 1. And then side 2 has the words Radiate Positivity. This was one of my summer makes and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I made like a little knot strap to go with it. And it's just perfect because you can tie it to any size that you like. So this was like my summer beach bag. And it hangs right here perfectly at my hips. You can turn it any which way. And with the cotton yarn, it's super durable. Like, I took this to the beach so many times. I didn't even line it, so it totally works. I don't know how to sew, so I didn't line it. Maybe next year I will learn how to sew, but with cotton yarn, no lining, it was totally fine. So if you want to make one, I will leave the pattern link in the description. This next project was a little out of my comfort zone. I typically only make wearables and tapestry crochet crafts. So this was my first amigurumi project. It's a cherry blossom cow, and it has this little bag that wraps around, and then little different cherry blossom flowers for its ears. And I am obsessed with this pattern. The pattern is by Crochet Calls, and I bought the entire cow series, so I have a box of yarn waiting for me to be created into different types of cows. And I also bought her duck patterns, but I haven't made them yet. This was a super quick project and it's so cute. I think I'm eventually gonna list her on my Etsy, because I just don't really hold a ton of plushies. Like that Patrick I bought was one of the first plushies I've bought recently. So yes, it'll be hard to say goodbye, but if you're interested, check out my Etsy. I think I'm gonna list her after I make this video so she could go to a home where she's loved. The next project I made was the bikini top by Earth by Morg. I love the construction and I love the colors. I used Hopi's yarn, but I love how it's like inverted V's and it actually holds pretty well. I'll try it on for you. I wouldn't go in the ocean with it, but when I was here in San Diego, just sunbathing, crocheting on the beach, it worked really well. I still have the leftover yarn and it's enough to make the bottom. So for next summer, I should have the full set. I just get so excited to finish projects and start a new one that I didn't quite get to the bikini bottom yet. And this is the bikini top. I really love the front tie. I think it gives it just such a feminine look, and you get a ton of coverage with this triangle bikini. So I highly, highly recommend it. I might even make one in a single color because I love it so much. The next project that I had on my completed list is my very first knit project. And of course, I could not find it in my closet. I tore it apart trying to pick out everything that I made. But I will drop a photo here of the Sophie Scarf. I feel like this is a great beginner knitting pattern and everybody makes one. I'm probably gonna make a few more. I plan to make one in red actually. And yes, so I'll drop my picture of the Sophie Scarf here, but it was a great project to get my bearings and to get my fingers right for knitting because it's totally different from crochet. I learned how to knit continental, so if you are a crocheter looking to get into knitting, try continental style. It was a lot easier for me to pick up than I think the other way it's called English style, I'm not sure, but yeah, so the Sophie Scarf is what got me into knitting. So feeling inspired from the Sophie Scarf, I wanted to try a larger knitting project, and let me quickly check the name of this one. This is the Open Knit Sweater and it's by Art by Carlise. And I used a Malabrigo, I think it was a Rios yarn, to make it, and it's a very basic open knit sweater. It's so soft, the yarn that I used to make it is so nice. It has a lot of stretch and it's really oversized. I think I made it a size large because I wanted it to throw on over tank tops and such. It's definitely not perfect, but as a beginner, I'm really proud of it. I learned how to pick up stitches, but like this, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see these types of mistakes. Like I didn't drop stitches, but it's so stretched out. I don't really know why, honestly. And yeah, I just feel like you can see all of the mistakes. Like I learned how to pick up stitches so I could knit the sleeve, but man, it was tough. Overall, it's such an artsy looking sweater. I don't really care that some of the stitches are stretched out. It's so cute and cozy and fall colored. So it's just nice to have this as a reminder of my first project. Like going from this to one of my later projects, I'm really, really impressed how quickly I'm picking up knitting. So yeah, give it a try if you are a crocheter looking to knit. I had like a superiority complex like with crocheting. Like you only need one hook to do it, but I don't know, the knitting has been really fun. It's been a new journey and it feels humbling to start a new hobby because I had no idea what I was doing. And here is the open knit sweater tried on, and here's the open knit sweater getting caught on my ring. Look at these colors. Malabrigo never disappoints. It's so stretchy and it's just such an easy sweater if I'm running out the door to throw on over a shirt or a tank top. That you can tell, like here, you can see all my mistakes, but that's okay. I still love this pattern. This next project was a pain to finish. I originally bought all of the yarn in London when I was on a work trip, and then I ran out of yarn and I couldn't find the yarn anywhere, so I had to order it from this place. I think it was in Germany. I have a whole video on that. But finally it was complete, and I had never made a cardigan with buttons before. So this is the Eternal Seasons cardigan. I believe it's by Jewel Makes. And I am obsessed with it. I love the color. It reminds me of my trip to London. It has these bubble sleeves. The mesh gives it some breathability. And I believe it's a made to measure pattern, so you could make it with any yarn, which is nice. And I also had like a nightmare picking out buttons, but I went with these shell stitch buttons, and they're almost like iridescent. They're really pretty. So the trouble was worth it for this cardigan. It was like self-imposed trouble, but it's one of my coziest knits or crochets. I love my Eternal Seasons cardigan. I want to make another one. This yarn is just so fuzzy. It feels like a cloud. And I bought a ton of these buttons off of Amazon, these seashell type buttons. It's really, really cute. It just gives me cute preppy vibes, especially with the bubble sleeves. So I highly recommend this pattern. It could work really well with cotton, I would say bamboo, and I don't know what type this is. I think it's a type of blown yarn, but I love it. I lived in this sweater in the fall. And I don't know what was up with me this fall, but I could not stop thinking about making cardigans. And then TinyCouchCrochet posted a tester call for her Ronnie cardigan, and this is stunning. It's going to be in her book coming out, I think, later in 2025, but I'm so happy that I could be a part of this project. I use the Hobie Friends line. I think it's cotton, and it's this beautiful green color. And just look at that stitch definition. This is Tunisian crochet, and if this doesn't tell you why I'm obsessed with it, like, I don't think I'd be able to convince you. Yeah, look, it's just, it has pockets. I mean, what more could a girl ask for? And I love these buttons. It's just your traditional cozy cardigan. And so I had a few more cardigans in mind that I wanted to make, so I bought a ton of yarn and never made them because these projects take a long time, but it's totally worth it. So this is the Ronnie cardi. It's got balloon sleeves, which I love. I love the oversized look, especially with a cardigan. And it reminds me of a couple cardigans I had growing up. So it's super duper cute. I love the buttons that I chose to go with this forest green color. And the pockets, they're crocheted in it, so it's not like added separately. And it's really nice. I'll give you a little close up. And yeah, I love these buttons. It's such an interesting construction. So when the book comes out, I highly recommend it. There are a few other patterns that she was testing for this book, and I could only test for one because of the timing, but I will be purchasing this book. And this last project that I finished, it struck me like in the middle of my day on a Monday, and right after work I rushed to Michael's to purchase the yarn to make it, and I think I made it in less than a week, which is pretty fast for me. I don't think I'm a fast crocheter, but this is my Meoi Catas tapestry crochet pattern. I listed it on my Etsy, and my cats are obsessed with Christmas lights. I mean, they like to chew on it, but they also like to get tangled up in it. So yeah, if you'd like to make this tapestry, hang it up for the rest of the holidays, I will leave the pattern in the description, but I'm really proud of this one. I love making tapestry crochet patterns in stitch fiddle. So if anybody's interested, I'd love to post a tutorial so you can make your own patterns or just make your own graphs in stitch fiddle. But it's perfect. I really like the size of it and it worked out pretty quickly. I haven't made gigantic graphgans before, so I really like medium-sized ones, not tiny, not large, but just right for me. These last two projects that I have are technically not finished, and I did plan on finishing them before the year ends, and I still have the chance. It's like mid-December right now. But my Etsy got really busy during the beginning of December after Thanksgiving, and I make a ton of beanies. So I got really burnt out making beanies ahead of this Christmas rush. I'm so thankful for all of the orders, but my personal crochet and knit got put on the back burner, and I just got a little burnt out. So I didn't want to risk a crochet knitting injury because I have like hurt my wrist before. So I'm taking it slow, trying to be conscious and aware of my limitations. So I want to show you these projects that might not get done, but they're so close. So this first unfinished project is the Novice sweater by Petite Knit. Her instructions were really clear and she has so many videos for beginner knitters, so I thought, why not try the Novice sweater? And I use a Malabrigo yarn again, and it's so soft. It's single ply, so I've been finding like a bunch of pilling or like just a little extra fuzz, like the collar is what you made first, and so it's what's rubbing against me when I'm knitting the rest of it. So I think it's just getting a little worn, but I haven't even worn it yet, so I don't know. I really love how soft the yarn is, but maybe it wasn't the best choice for this project. We'll see in the long run, but it's really cozy, squishy, and I just love the colors. Malabrigo, their colorways, I'm just obsessed with. And it's mostly done. I literally just need this one sleeve. I think for me, that'll probably take me 3 more hours, but I don't want to stress out my wrist. Okay, here's the unfinished try-on of the Novice sweater, and it's so cozy. I cannot wait for it to be done. I am so impressed with this yarn. I love it, I'm obsessed. And I really love the sleeves, how you get that ribbing there too. It makes me feel like a professional knitter, honestly. I learned so many skills. So this is a great first sweater project for beginner knitters. I highly recommend it. And like, yeah, the sleeves like look good connected. This is my first time knitting from a yoke, which is an interesting learning process. One thing about knitting top down is when you go to add the sleeves, it twists, so you always have to untwist your project. I don't know if it's just me, but it was a little bit annoying, and that's where I think I got the worn outness here, where it started to pill because I was twisting it over and over again. But I learned a lot. I'm very grateful for this project. I can't wait for it to be officially done. Oh, one thing I wanted to show you is that Petite Knit had a way to close the holes around the armpit area, which was a trouble spot for me on my first knit. And look, it's gotten a little better. It's not like a huge hole, so definitely needs some improvement, but from my first knit sweater, I think this is turning out really great. And this last unfinished project has been a year in the making. I legit started this in December 2023, and it is taking me forever. I'm working on the collar right now. But this is the I Smell Snow sweater by Just the Worsted. I'm obsessed with her, what can I say? This is the year of Just the Worsted. I love how vibrant this blue is. This is another Hobie, I think it's the Friends line again, but it's held, let me grab it, it fell down. I used the mohair with the merino, and it's turning out so nicely. It takes forever because you use slip stitches and half double crochets, but it's so worth it. Like, look at this drape, girl, I'm obsessed. I finished one sleeve, and so I'm on Sleeve Island for 2 projects. I'm a little worried that I made it too short, but I think I can solve that with blocking, or if it's it's fine if it's a little too short for me personally. I don't care that much. So we'll see. I've got the collar to make, and then I'm gonna head on to sleeve number 2. So let's see if I can finish it this year, but no rush. It's been a year in the making. So here's a quick little unfinished try on of the I Smell Snow sweater. But yeah, look at the drape. The color is so bright. It's so stretchy. So I'm really excited for how it's gonna turn out. I still have to finish the collar, and the sleeves are a little bit, or I mean the shoulders are dropped down a little bit, so I'm hoping the sleeve won't be too short. We'll see. I'm gonna block it out, and I think it's gonna be fine, but you can see the vision. Thank you so much for joining another year of all of my fiber arts creations, all here on my couch. I'm so excited for 2025. Let me know what your favorite project was, or if this inspired you to make any of these projects as well. I felt like 2024 was a year of big projects for me. I have so many sweaters and cardigans, which was really ambitious. So I think next year I do want to do some quicker projects so that they can fly off my needles and my hooks. But anyways, I want to say thank you again for watching. I hope you have a happy holidays, and I will see you next time. Thank you.